What is going on, YouTube? This is Lawrence over at Mighty Comics and Collectibles, and we are here today again for a Key Issue Spec Show. This is episode 6. Let me show you guys my promo image. Hopefully this will work. Now I think there you go. There we go. Key Issue Spec Show Live. This is episode number 6. Hope you guys are enjoying this weekly series. We are, like I said, we are on episode 6 right now. Hopefully, we can keep this train going, show you guys some cool spec books that I think are on the rise, books that I think are worth picking up. Some of the books may be inexpensive books. Some of the books may be huge keys, but everything is out of my personal collection. So everything book that you see, I actually own. And these are books I really do think that they should be bought before the hype train keeps going. Like I said, some are big, some are small, some haven't even gotten a push at all. But I have 2 books to show you guys today. 2 actually huge books, 2 major keys, 2 first appearances. Both have been seen before in movies, but neither have been to the MCU yet. So they're 2 Marvel books. And with that said, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the first book, okay? Let me take this off of here. There we go. All right, so let me go and show you guys the first book. And it is a big one, okay? The first book on Key Issue Spec Show, episode number 6. It is Amazing Spider-Man number 129, the first appearance of the Punisher. Now, I own this book in a CGC 8.0, off-white to white pages, and I also recently picked up a raw copy. This is probably in the 3.0 to 3.5 range, I think. Not incredibly high grade, but I definitely wanted to add a second raw copy to the collection, only because I think this book is in prime spot to go up and go up big. Now, why do I say that? Like all of the Key Issue Spec Show episodes, I focus on books, of major first appearances or smaller books with major first appearances. So why do I think first Punisher? Well, we've seen him in the Netflix show. We've seen him in, back in the 90s in his own movie, and it was okay. It was an original Dolph Lundgren one from the 80s, which was, an 80s movie. But we are now waiting for this character to appear into the MCU, appear into possibly going to Disney+. It is about that time now that the Netflix show, we had to wait a certain amount of time before Marvel could use him again in the movies, and that time is now up. And I do think you'll end up seeing him rather quickly within the next year or 2. Now, that may get pushed back with the whole coronavirus thing. But there's already rumblings that Daredevil will be showing up in Spider-Man 3. It's not too far along that say the Frank Castle may appear in a soon-to-be Marvel movie. And I also think this book is still undervalued. Punisher's not a, superhero. He is a, an anti-hero type of character. So I want to show you guys the GPA. I want to show you guys what these books are worth. And then we could talk about why I think this book is ready to pop. So let me do that. I have this set up for 1 book at a time now, so we are not going to get screwed up. So I'm going to show you the raw book first. Here is the Universal 3.0 grade. Like I said, GPA is for recent sales for eBay books. So at a 3.0 in a Universal sale is $550, about $27 higher than 3 months ago or so. The high for the year of 2020 was $550. The low was $400. So I paid $420 for this book off of someone off of Instagram, and I thought it was well worth it. An inexpensive, don't get me wrong, $400 something is still a lot of money to pay for a book. But to me, I see people buying other huge keys, like modern keys. To me, this is a Bronze Age key. To me, it would always be worth more than a modern key, and that's just me. I think it will hold its value a lot better. It's an original character. It's not a character that's been, let's say, has the same powers as another character. This is someone who doesn't have any powers, the Punisher, Frank Castle, but his story is unique. So we looked at the 3.0. It's, $550 was the last sale. This is a 3.5. The last sale was $552, but look at the high of $626. So this book is priced up over this year. The high was actually $700 for a 3.5, which I think is actually really high considering, like I said, a 3.0 sold for $550. So the low was $480. So that is a big, big swing, $220 swing. So we're going to go up and we're going to go to the 8.0 graded version that I have. Here it is, Universal 8.0. The last sale was $1,527, up from $1,300. So you can see that is a big, big jump. The high for the year was $1,600. The low was $1,000, which to me is huge, huge deal for this book. So it is spiking. It is a huge book. And what I've noticed about this whole coronavirus and comics related is that a lot of books haven't taken big, big jumps. Like there hasn't been any news for the Punisher, right? We haven't really heard anything outside the fact that Marvel now has his rights back after Daredevil has been off for the past couple of years. So I don't know if that's the reason for the jump, but either way, there has been a nice size gain in this book. That's why I picked up another copy. And I got to be honest, it is a bronze book, so I try to stay to mid grades on this book, and I think that's fine. Anything I think under a 2.5 is kind of it's really low grade for a bronze book. So I would say 2.5 to 3.0 is your sweet spot. And if you can afford a higher grade copy, I think that is well worth it because I do think this is a book that's going to jump and jump quickly. Obviously, the standard, huge book from the Bronze Age was Incredible Hulk 181. And you've seen where that book has gone. You're talking about, I own a 4.0 signed by Stan Lee. You're talking about just a regular 4.0, probably going for like $3,000 around that, I think. So that book has gone crazy. This is not a bigger character as Wolverine, but it still holds that same type of a feel, I think, to collectors as that book does. So it's not going to have that kind of a jump, but it will have a nice jump. And you can already see it's gone up quite nicely. So let me check on the chat to see if anybody is here. I got Rye Sky. What's going on, buddy? And Simon R. How you doing, bud? Good to see you back in the chat. So that is my first spec book. And I know it is a huge book and it's a book that may be unattainable for a few people out there, but you can do it. Put your money aside. Don't buy some books for a while. Keep just saving. If it's a character you're interested, if it's a book that you're interested, that's how you save to get big keys. I don't like the fact of, all right, I'm going out, I'm spending $20 every week on a book or a couple of books that, all right, I'm going to read them, but after that, they're dollar books. Like reading books is awesome. I think that we should all be reading, actual books. I'm not a huge fan of the electronic reading. Some guys like it. I like to have the paper in my hand, and that's cool. But to snag these big keys, some people say they want to roll. They buy, a low grade and they roll up to a bigger one. That's perfectly fine as well. I just like banking the money and then just buying the key that I want. I do think that's more effective. So, Spec Collector, what's going on, brother? How are you? Mega keys and grails have jumped, but non-essentials have dropped drastically. Exactly right. And now is the time to jump on this stuff because you see like the grails. I don't know if it's because people don't have as much going on and they're just looking for comics, or people are really, really speculating that these characters are going to be coming. And they're jumping on them. So that's the first book for this episode. I'm going to go ahead and show you one more book, and it is another huge book that I just acquired. I've already had a copy, but I was recently, if anybody hasn't checked out my last video, I did a large trade with someone, sold one of my grails. It was, if anybody doesn't know him, it's Comics with Bonix, I think his name is, on Instagram. He also has his YouTube channel on YouTube as well. Check him out. He recently purchased a Grail comic from me, Amazing Fantasy 15 3.0. And we did a trade for 6 books and cash. I'm not going to give you the cash amount, obviously, but I did acquire 6 books. That was my last video. Check that out if you haven't watched it yet. But this is one of the books that I acquired, and I agreed to this book because I believe it is going to skyrocket. The character has already been announced to have his own movie. They've already casted the character, so maybe you guys have guessed it. It is Tomb of Dracula, number 10, the first appearance of Blade. Now, this is the book that I acquired in that trade. It is a 5.0, white pages, a beautiful copy. And let me also show you that I also have another personal collection copy that is also a 5.0 that is signed by Marv Wolfman. Now, it's not yellow label, so it wasn't witnessed, but it is a Marv Wolfman signature on this book, which I thought was pretty cool when I picked it up. So, nevertheless, this book is huge right now. They've already announced the character. They've already announced the fact that he's getting his own movie. It'll probably not come out for a couple of years at this point because everything's been pushed back, but I thought the casting was absolutely perfect. This is a character who's had his own movies back in the 90s, and actually the first couple were actually pretty good. Last one, not so much. But I can't wait to see what they do with this character. And this is another Bronze Age book, a Bronze Age key. Bronze Age books are kind of going crazy right now. If you guys haven't noticed that, you haven't noticed that the Bronze Age books are really, really starting to take off. The last couple of weeks, I showed you Marvel Premiere number 15. I showed you Tomb of Dracula now and Amazing Spider-Man number 129. I know I've showed you a couple of other Bronze Age and a couple of other episodes. They are starting to take off. They are jumping out of here. They are going through the roof. And this character has already been announced for his own movie, and he's already been cast. Now, since they've done all that, we haven't heard boo about it. So now is a perfect time to pick it up. And this is another reason why I think this was a great book to pick up, because it is not that expensive, just like the Punisher book. This is a mid-grade book at 5.0, and it's worth about $550. Now, that is, it's not super high grade. It's not super expensive, but it is, a decently expensive book. But I see a lot of collectors out there picking up books in this range. So if you don't have a copy of this book, I suggest you pick it up. Like always, we are going to go and we're going to jump on GPA. Give me 1 second. I am just going to share the screen and then change the book. So there you go. Let me go back up here and go into, what was it, Tomb of Dracula, and type that out. So there you go. There's 70 issues from 1972 to 1979. We'll go to issue 10, and you guys should be able to see this, and we'll scroll right down to a 5.0. So there it is, Universal 5.0. You guys can see that? Yes, you can. Perfect. So as you can see, the last sale was, I think, $529, or is that the 3-month average? I think it's the 3-month average. If you scroll down, look at the high for the year. The high for the year was $635, and the low was $455. So I believe this is the 3-month average, $529. No, I apologize. This was the last sale, $529, and $558 is the 3-month average. So the 3-month average is $558, up from, a couple years ago, $454, $511, and look at this, a couple of years before that, $246. So this is a book that definitely has gotten hot recently. You can see by the graph here, it had a spike sometime in, early 2019, it looks, and now it's on its way up again. We have a little bit of a dip right now. You can see, dip down. Nobody's talking about it. Everybody's forgotten that the movie coming out in a couple of years because of what's going on in the world. So I think $550 for this book is a steal right now, considering we don't have a trailer. We don't have them working on it yet. We don't have anything really being announced other than we know that who is playing the main character. We don't know who the villain is, and that's when we'll kind of get more information. So we're back off of that now, and I'm back. So Tomb of Dracula number 10. Now, this is a big book. Like I said, 5.0 runs $550. That's about the average. That's about what I'm willing to pay. I only have the 2 copies. One is going to stay in the personal collection. This other 5.0 is for sale if anybody's interested at $550. I may be able to work a little bit if it's someone who's willing to pay friends and family off of eBay, of course. So message me about that if you are interested, because I don't plan on holding this stuff. I want to throw some of this money back into something else, even though I think if I hold on to that book, it's a definite home run. So let's get caught up in a chat. Rogue 21, brother, how are you? Glad to see you. I'm going to be doing another live sale soon, claim sale, now that I have some of these books and some of the other stuff I picked up. Picked up another ASM 129 last week, 8.0. That book just sells well. Exactly right. And that's that yellow cover. It's a Spider-Man book. It's a major first appearance, and it's a yellow cover. Trifecta. Tomb's absolutely taking off. Yes, great pickups, brother. Thank you, bud. And Right Comics Guy. Nice. How are you, buddy? Yes, I agree. These 2 books are huge things. And like I said, I don't throw mega keys up all the time that are worth a ton of money, because I think I know a lot of people can't do it. But those who can and want to pick them up, try to do it now. do it now before they show up. Like I said, Tomb of Dracula has already been announced, so he's coming. But Frank Castle, to me, Punisher was one of my favorite characters growing up. It was Spider-Man, Hulk, and then the Punisher. His story just resonated with me as a child, so I've always been in love with him. And then you see the first appearance, like I said, trifecta, major first appearance. It was a Spider-Man book for me, which I collected, and the yellow covers are something that I think most of us enjoy. So that's it, guys. That's key episode. I'm sorry, that's key issue spec show episode number 6. 2 ginormous keys for you guys to go out and buy. Look for this episode number 7 next week. I have more doozies to show you guys. They probably won't be this big, or they might. We'll see. You know, these are pretty easy books to spec on, these two. I've done some earlier videos where they're smaller books. They're kind of, we think we might see them eventually, but these are the two that are definitely, in my opinion, coming sooner than later. So, like I said, that's it for the show, guys. Thank you for hanging with me for a couple of minutes, stopping by. If you're not a subscriber, if you like my content, subscribe to this channel. I always got some good stuff coming, especially this live show every week. Hit the notification bell if you can. This way you get all the notifications of when I do go live or when I put out a video. So that's it. This is Lawrence over at Mighty Comics and Collectibles saying thanks for watching this video, guys. Like this video if you like it, and I'll talk to you guys soon.